welcome to the Players Club in Gramercy Park, New York City. This was started in 1888 by Edwin Booth, who was the Tom Cruise of his time. Right now we're in the Great Hall, and let's actually see a portrait of Edwin Booth himself. And you'll see a bunch of portraits everywhere, such as Christopher Plummer right here. And this is Edwin Booth, who was Tom Cruise of his time. Now, Booth sounds like a very familiar name, especially to those who were raised in America and know some American history. Let's get into that right upstairs. This is the elevator of the Players Club, where Sarah Bernhardt got stuck inside with the future vice president of Actors Equity for an entire hour. It was quite of an ordeal, so they put on this portrait in her honor. But, alright, let's try to get out of here. Let's see if it still, okay, good, it still opens. Right here, on a nightly basis, Mark Twain, writer of Huckleberry Finn, used to play. He was really known for his love of gambling. And next to him usually sat Nikola Tesla, who for quite a while they were BFFs. So much so that Nikola Tesla at some point took a photo of Mark Twain, and while studying the photo, he accidentally discovered X-rays. That's a big testament to their bromance. Now people in the Players still play a weekly game of poker right here. So cool. Alright, now let's take a look into the library, which is one of the most impressive collections of theater history that you can access here in New York City. They have books throughout the past century of all the top playwrights and profiles on actors that you can ever imagine. I really love sitting here personally when I was a member, just sitting down, enjoying a cocktail, reading for a while, having a conversation with a fellow guest. And another thing I really like is all these portraits of the famous women that have visited the Players Club throughout its history. And then one thing that really sticks out, that's kind of very sad, but it illuminates a lot about why this club was founded, is a letter written by Edwin Booth to the American people apologizing for his brother assassinating the American president at the time, Abraham Lincoln. Here is the copy of the actual letter, and about 2 decades after that happened, he decided to kind of give back to the community, and he started this club, the Players. But let's look at one of the coolest rooms in the entire place, where we can really get a true insight into who he was. Let's go. The Players Club also acts as a museum where you can see all the costumes of Edwin Booth throughout his career. Now, the costumes was the character. Most theaters did not provide their own costume. The actor was the one who carried around his costume. And so you see costumes here such as Othello, Richard, and Hamlet. And I really love this Richard coat. It is such a great, beautiful coat. But let's walk inside where Edwin Booth spent the final years of his life, living here in the very third floor of the Players Club. This is Edwin Booth's room. This is where he resided his final years as people were gallivanting and having fun downstairs. That's his bed. Now there's one little detail I want to point out. Right next to his bed is a very tiny portrait of his brother John Wilkes. Now, the portrait is very small, it's unmarked, it doesn't say his name, and it brings to wonder how it affected Edwin to see his brother commit such a heinous crime at the time, and still, somehow with some brotherly love, still have him in his memory. One other thing that really sticks out for me here is a pipe that Edwin Booth smoked. Edwin Booth loved smoking his tobacco and also loved his drinking. And right here is a skull. That is an actual human skull right there. It has Masonic imagery on it. That's because Edwin Booth himself was a Freemason. Now this skull, according to legend, comes from a man who was going to be hung out in the West Coast for thievery. And his last dying wish was to donate his skull to Edwin Booth, his favorite actor of all time, so he can use it in his productions of Hamlet. So after a few weeks of that man being hung, they took out the skull and transported it, sent it to Edwin Booth, and now he has it. He used it for his 100 Nights of Hamlet. Kind of cool. So take in this room one more time. I think it's just a beautiful room, has kind of a musty smell to it. They really keep it as intact as his final days.